My daughter posted a TikTok rating her parents. She gave her stepdad a 10 out of 10 and me a 1 out of 10, so I decided to show her who really deserves that rating. The video hit 50,000 views overnight. Some dads don't deserve kids, she wrote. I watched it 3 times, then liked it. Didn't comment, didn't call, just waited. That weekend, I drove to her mom's house when she was at work. My daughter was washing the car I bought her, a Honda Civic I'd been making payments on for 2 years. "Dad, what are you doing here?" she asked, looking up from the soapy sponge in her hand. "I need the car back," I said, holding out my hand for the keys. She laughed. Very funny. "I'm serious. The car's in my name. Insurance, too. I also closed your college savings account this morning." Her face went white. "You can't do that." "Already did. $80,000 gone." She started crying, calling me crazy, asking what was wrong with me. I just got in the car and drove away. I could see her in the rearview mirror, standing there in the driveway, soap suds still dripping from her hands, her mouth open in shock. 3 days later, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Her mom was calling non-stop. Her stepdad, too. The guy she rated 10 out of 10 for being always there and so supportive. I ignored every single one. Then I got the text from my daughter. "Dad, please call me back. Mom and Steve are freaking out about money. What's happening?" I sent her a simple reply. "Ask Steve where his paycheck is." See, I'd been curious about this perfect stepdad. Did some digging. Turns out Steve hadn't worked in 3 years. The business consulting job he bragged about didn't exist. The nice clothes, the fancy dinners, the weekend trips, all paid for with my child support money. Every single dollar I sent to help raise my daughter was going straight into Steve's pocket while he played house and pretended to be the perfect father figure. My daughter called that evening, sobbing. "Dad," I looked at Steve's LinkedIn. "There's nothing recent. Mom won't talk to me. What did you find?" "His last job was 2021 part-time at Best Buy," I said calmly. Her voice cracked. "Have you really been paying for everything?" I pulled out my phone and started reading. "Braces, $2,400. Summer camp, $2,800. That laptop you love, $1,400. The family vacation to Disney last year, I sent an extra $3,000. Should I keep going?" Silence on the other end. "Your mom told you I was a deadbeat dad who barely helped, right?" She said you only sent the minimum, and it was always late. I have every bank transfer, every receipt. Want me to send them?" The next day, she showed up at my apartment, eyes red, still in her pajamas. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "I read everything you sent, every payment, every receipt." I let her in, but didn't hug her. Not yet. She stood in my living room looking around like it was the first time she'd really seen where I lived. The small apartment I could barely afford after paying her mom's bills every month. "Dad, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Steve told me you didn't care about me. Mom said you chose work over family. And you believed them?" I said quietly. "They were all I knew. You weren't around much after the divorce." I felt anger rise in my chest. "Because your mom made it impossible. Every time I planned something with you, suddenly you had other plans. Every birthday party, every school event, I'd show up and be told I wasn't welcome. I showed up anyway, you know. I sat in my car outside your 10th birthday party for 2 hours because your mom said I'd ruin it if I came inside. She sat on my couch looking lost. I didn't know that. I know you didn't. That's what I'm trying to tell you." She wiped her eyes. "The TikTok was Steve's idea. He said it would be funny to rate parents. He helped me write the script. That hit different." "He helped you write it?" "Yeah. He said it would get views if I was dramatic about it. He even suggested the 1 out of 10. Said it would make people sympathize with me more." My anger shifted completely. This wasn't just my ex poisoning my daughter against me. This was calculated manipulation for social media content. Steve was using my kid to humiliate me online while living off my money. "Where are you living now?" I asked. "Home. But it's weird. Steve keeps asking Mom about money. They're fighting constantly. Yesterday, he said maybe he should move back in with his mom until things stabilize." I almost laughed. The perfect stepdad was already planning his exit now that the money train stopped. "Dad, I know I messed up badly. That video was cruel and I was wrong. Can you ever forgive me?" I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. She was just a kid who'd been manipulated by adults who should have protected her. "The car is in the driveway. Keys are on the counter." She started crying again. "Really? The college fund is back in your account as of this morning. Every penny. But why? After what I did? Because you're my daughter, and you'll always be my daughter. But you're not Steve's only victim." I opened Facebook and showed her a profile she'd never seen. A woman 2 states away, with twin boys around 8 years old. Her relationship status said, "Married to Steve." The posts went back 4 years. Family photos, birthday parties, school events. She looked at me in horror. "What?" "The wedding photos were from 2021. Same year he moved in with your mom." "Oh my God." He's been living two lives, and according to her latest post from yesterday, she just found out her bank account is empty too. My daughter just stared at the screen, her hands shaking. The woman's name was Jennifer, and her most recent post was a desperate plea asking if anyone knew where Steve Patterson was because he'd cleared out their joint account and wasn't answering his phone. The post had dozens of comments from friends offering support and asking what happened. "I need to tell Mom," my daughter said, standing up so fast she knocked over her coffee cup. "We need to warn her. She already knows something's wrong. Why do you think they've been fighting about money? But this is different. He's married. He has kids. Oh God, those poor boys." I watched her scroll through Jennifer's profile, her face getting paler with each photo. There was Steve at the twins' birthday party last month, Steve coaching their little league team, Steve and Jennifer at a restaurant celebrating their anniversary, dated just 3 weeks ago. "How did you find this?" she asked. "I hired a private investigator 2 months ago. After you posted that video, I wanted to know who this man was that my daughter thought was so perfect. The investigator found Jennifer in 2 days. 2 months ago? But that was before you took the car. I needed to know the truth first. Needed to understand what I was dealing with." My daughter looked at me with new eyes. "You've been planning this the whole time? I've been protecting you the whole time. There's a difference." Her phone started buzzing. It was her mom calling. She looked at me, uncertain. "Answer it," I said. She put it on speaker. Her mom's voice was frantic. "Honey, where are you? Steve left this morning with 2 suitcases and I can't reach him. Did your father say something to him?" "Mom, I'm at Dad's. We need to talk." "You're at his place? After what he did? Taking your car, closing your college fund, that's financial abuse, honey. Is it true Steve hasn't worked in 3 years?" Silence on the other end. "Mom, that's between me and Steve. Is it true Dad's been paying for everything? The Disney trip, my braces, my laptop, all of it? Your father is trying to turn you against us. Steve has been good to you. He's been more of a father than... He's married, Mom, to someone else, with twin boys. And he's been married the whole time he's been living with you." The phone went so quiet I thought the call had dropped. Then I heard a sound like a wounded animal, a low moan that turned into sobbing. "No," her mom finally said. "You're lying. Your father put you up to this." My daughter looked at me, and I nodded. She pulled up Jennifer's Facebook on her laptop and started reading. Jennifer Patterson, married to Stephen Patterson in June 2021. 2 sons, Tyler and Trevor, age 8. Lives in Ohio. Works as a dental hygienist. Her latest post says her husband cleaned out their bank account and disappeared. Stop it. There are photos, Mom. Wedding photos, birthday parties, little league games, all dated while he was living with you. I heard something crash on the other end. Then her mom's voice, barely a whisper. "Where is he now?" "I don't know. He left this morning." My daughter hung up after her mom broke down completely. She looked at me with tears streaming down her face. "What do we do now?" "Now," I said, "we make sure both families know the truth, and we make sure Steve can't do this to anyone else." The next morning, my daughter asked if we could drive to Jennifer's house. She wanted to tell her in person, show her everything we knew. I wasn't sure it was a good idea, but the look in my daughter's eyes told me she needed this. She needed to do something right after being part of Steve's lies for so long. We drove 4 hours to Ohio. Didn't call ahead, didn't warn anyone. We just showed up. When we pulled into the driveway of a nice suburban house with a trampoline in the backyard, my daughter's hands were shaking. "What if she doesn't believe us?" "She'll believe us," I said. Steve's car was parked in the driveway, a silver Lexus I'd seen in the Facebook photos. My daughter's eyes went wide. "He's here," she whispered. "I know." We walked up to the front door together. I rang the doorbell and we waited. The door opened, and Steve stood there in a bathrobe, holding a coffee mug. His face when he saw us, I'll never forget it. The mug slipped from his hand and shattered on the tile floor. "Dad, what are you doing here?" He said it automatically, like he was on autopilot, before he realized how that sounded. My daughter's face hardened. "Don't call him that." Steve tried to close the door, but I put my foot against it. "We need to talk. This is harassment. I'll call the police." "Go ahead," I said calmly. "I'm sure they'd love to hear about bigamy and financial fraud." A woman's voice called from upstairs. "Steve, who is it?" Jennifer appeared at the top of the stairs, wrapping a robe around herself. She saw us and froze. "Who are they?" she asked. Before Steve could say anything, my daughter spoke up. "I'm his stepdaughter. He's been living with my mom for 3 years. I just found out last week he's married to you." Jennifer came down the stairs slowly, her face going pale. "What? It's not what it sounds like," Steve started, but my daughter cut him off. She pulled out her phone and showed Jennifer her TikTok video. "This is me rating my parents. I gave you a 10 out of 10, Steve. Said you were always there, so supportive. Meanwhile, you had a whole other family here." Jennifer took the phone with shaking hands. She watched the video, then looked at Steve. "You're her stepdad?" "I can explain," Steve said weakly. "Explain what?" Jennifer's voice was rising. "That you've been living a double life? That our entire marriage is a lie?" 2 boys came running down the stairs. probably hearing the commotion. "Mommy, what's wrong?" Jennifer's face crumpled. "Boys, go back upstairs. Now." They looked confused but obeyed. As soon as they were gone, Jennifer turned on Steve with a fury I felt in my bones. "How long?" 3 years, I said quietly. "Same time he's been with my ex-wife." Steve tried to run. He actually tried to push past us and bolt out the front door. But I'm bigger than him, and I was ready. I grabbed his arm and held him there while my daughter pulled out her phone and started recording. "Let me go," Steve shouted. "The neighbors are going to love this," my daughter said calmly, still filming. Perfect stepdad caught living a double life. "Jennifer, I love you," Steve pleaded. "This was a mistake. I got confused. I made bad choices, but we can work through this." Jennifer just stared at him. "Where's the money, Steve?" "What money?" "Our savings account. The one you cleaned out yesterday. Where is it?" I needed some time to think, to figure things out. Jennifer laughed, but it was harsh and broken. "You stole our money and ran to your other family?" "I came here to end things, to tell you the truth." "Bullshit," I said. "You came here because my daughter's mom cut off the money supply when she found out you're unemployed. You're a con artist who got caught." Jennifer walked to the coat closet and pulled out her phone. She dialed 911 right there in front of us. "Yes, I need to report a theft. My husband emptied our joint bank account without permission. Over $60,000. She gave the address while Steve's face went even paler. "Oh, and you should also know he's been committing bigamy. He's married to me, but has been living with another woman for 3 years. Steve bolted. This time I let him go. He made it to his car, but Jennifer had already given the police his license plate number and vehicle description. He sped off down the street just as a police car turned the corner. We watched from the doorway as the officer pulled him over 2 blocks away. My daughter was still recording everything. She posted it to TikTok right there, standing in Jennifer's doorway. "This is part 2, she said into the camera. "Remember that perfect stepdad I rated 10 out of 10? Turns out he's married. To someone else. With kids, and he just stole $60,000 from her. Guess I need to update my ratings." The video went viral in hours. But we weren't done yet. Jennifer invited us inside, and we sat at her kitchen table going through everything. She had bank statements, credit card bills, receipts. Steve had been systematically draining her accounts for months. The $60,000 from yesterday was just the final withdrawal. He'd been taking smaller amounts for over a year. "He told me he was investing it," Jennifer said, tears streaming down her face. "He said he was building our retirement fund." My daughter showed her the bank records from her mom's account. "Same thing. He told my mom he was contributing to household expenses, but he never paid for anything. My dad's child support covered it all." Jennifer looked at me. "You've been paying for him to live with your ex-wife? For 3 years. Nearly $100,000 total." We sat there piecing it all together. Steve had been working both families like a professional con artist. He told each woman the other one was crazy, or a stalker, or someone from his past who wouldn't let go. He used my child support money to wine and dine Jennifer. He used Jennifer's salary to look successful to my ex-wife. And somehow, he'd managed to keep both lives completely separate until now. "There's more," Jennifer said quietly. She pulled out a credit card statement I'd never seen before. "This is in my name, but I didn't open it. Look at the charges." I looked. Hotels, restaurants, jewelry stores, all in cities where neither woman lived. "He has other women," my daughter said, her voice hollow. Jennifer nodded. "I found the account last month when I was doing taxes. When I confronted him, he said it was for business travel. That's why I checked our savings account yesterday. I was going to leave him, and that's when I found out the money was gone." My phone rang. It was my ex-wife. I put it on speaker. "He's being arrested," she said immediately. "The police just left my house. They wanted to know when I last saw Steve, if I knew about his other wife, if I had any knowledge of the stolen money." "Did you tell them everything?" "Yes." She was crying. "God, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I believed him about you. I'm sorry I let him into our daughter's life. I'm sorry for everything." My daughter reached for the phone. "Mom? Baby, I'm so sorry." "It's okay, Mom. We're going to figure this out." "Where are you?" "We're in Ohio, at Jennifer's house. Steve was here when we arrived." My ex-wife made a choking sound. "He ran to her? After everything?" "He's not very smart," I said. "The police already have him." Jennifer was on her laptop, her face getting paler by the second. "You guys, I found something. Steve has a dating profile. Multiple dating profiles, actually. Match, eHarmony, Christian Mingle, all of them." My daughter leaned over to look. The profiles showed different photos of Steve, different names, different job titles, but it was definitely him. "He's been doing this for years," Jennifer whispered. "Look at the dates. Some of these profiles go back to 2019, before we even met." My ex-wife's voice came through the speaker. "Check for a criminal record. If he's been running cons this long, there has to be something." Jennifer typed quickly. Then she froze. "Oh my God. What?" we all said together. "Stephen Michael Patterson, arrested in 2018 for fraud and identity theft. Charges were dropped due to insufficient evidence. Before that, restraining order filed by a woman in Florida in 2016, another in Nevada in 2017. He's a professional," I said slowly. "This is what he does." My daughter was crying now. I told the whole internet he was a better dad than you. I made a video calling you a deadbeat while praising a criminal. Hey, I said, pulling her close. You didn't know. That's what people like Steve do. They're good at this. Jennifer was still digging. She'd moved from Google to Facebook, searching through Steve's friends and photos, and there was a woman in Arizona who'd posted about Steve 6 months ago. Warning: this man is a con artist. He'll make you fall in love, move in with you, drain your accounts, and disappear. Please share so others don't get hurt like I did. The post had been shared 43 times. In the comments, 3 other women had similar stories. One from Texas, one from Colorado, one from Washington State. All had dated Steve. All had lost money. All had been left devastated. How many are there? My daughter whispered. We spent the next hour creating a list. Between the 4 of us, checking Facebook, dating profiles, police records, and news articles, we found evidence of at least 9 other women Steve had scammed. Maybe more. The pattern was always the same. Find a single mother or divorced woman. Be charming. Move in quickly. Take control of finances. Disappear when the money ran out or when he got caught. We need to contact all of them, Jennifer said. They deserve to know he's finally being held accountable. My daughter was already on it. She'd created a Google Doc with all the names, dates, and evidence we'd found. Can I post this? I looked at Jennifer. It's your call. Jennifer didn't hesitate. Post it. Every single detail. I want the world to know what kind of man he is. My daughter's 3rd TikTok video was 18 minutes long, the maximum the platform allowed. She laid out everything: the double life, the stolen money, the fake dating profiles, the other victims. She showed receipts, screenshots, police records, everything. At the end, she looked directly into the camera. 2 weeks ago, I made a video rating my parents. I gave my real dad a 1 out of 10 and my stepdad Steve a 10 out of 10. I was wrong. So completely, horribly wrong. My real dad spent 3 years and nearly $100,000 making sure I had everything I needed. He showed up to every birthday party, even when he wasn't allowed inside. He paid for braces, summer camp, my car, my college fund, all while my mom told me he was a deadbeat who didn't care. Meanwhile, Steve, the man I called perfect, is a con artist who's been running scams on women for years. He's married. He has other kids. He stole money from multiple families. And the worst part? He helped me write that first video. He wanted me to humiliate my dad for views. So here's my new rating. Dad, you get a 10 out of 10. Steve, you get blocked. And to everyone who's been scammed by this man, I'm sorry. I'm adding a link in my bio to a document with all the evidence we've found. If he hurt you too, please reach out. It's time he faces consequences for all of it. The video exploded. Within 12 hours, it had 300,000 views. By the next day, over 1 million. Women started commenting with their own stories about Steve, screenshots of conversations, bank records, photos he'd sent them. Some of the women had never reported him because they were embarrassed or thought they'd be alone. Now they were all coming together. Jennifer's phone wouldn't stop ringing. News outlets wanted interviews. The police called with updates. Other victims reached out asking to be added to the case. And through it all, we sat at her kitchen table, documenting everything. My ex-wife drove to Ohio that night. When she arrived, she looked 10 years older. Jennifer answered the door, and for a moment, the 2 women just stared at each other. Then my ex-wife started crying. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know about you. Jennifer's face was hard. He told me you were a stalker, that you were obsessed with him from some old relationship and I should ignore you if you ever contacted me. He told me you were a business associate who'd gotten too attached, my ex-wife said. He said you were mentally unstable. They stood there in the doorway. 2 women who'd been played by the same man. And then, Jennifer did something I didn't expect. She hugged my ex-wife. They both sobbed, holding onto each other like they were drowning. My daughter watched them with tears streaming down her face. I put my arm around her shoulders. We're going to fix this, I told her. All of it. That night, we all stayed at Jennifer's house. She insisted, said she didn't want to be alone. We ordered pizza and sat around the living room while the twin boys slept upstairs, oblivious to the chaos. Tell me about him, Jennifer said to my ex-wife. When did he move in with you? 3 years ago. He showed up at my work with flowers, said he'd seen me at the grocery store and couldn't stop thinking about me. Same line he used on me, Jennifer said bitterly, except it was at the gym. They compared stories. Every lie, every manipulation, every red flag they'd ignored because Steve was so charming, so attentive, so perfect. He love-bombed me, my ex-wife said. Gifts every day, constant texts. He made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. Until he moved in, Jennifer added. Then it changed. Subtle at first. Little comments about my spending, suggestions about how to manage money. Before I knew it, he was handling all the finances. My daughter was taking notes. She wanted to document everything for the police report, for the other victims, for anyone who might need it. Around midnight, my ex-wife turned to me. I owe you an apology, a real one. You've apologized. No, I mean for everything. For the past 3 years. For turning our daughter against you. For believing Steve when he said you were the problem. He was very convincing, I said. That's not an excuse. She wiped her eyes. You kept showing up. Even when I told you to leave. Even when I made things impossible. You kept trying to be there for her. Because she's my daughter. I know. And I'm sorry I made you fight so hard for that. My daughter got up and sat between us. She put one hand on her mom's knee and one on mine. We're going to be okay. All of us. The next morning, Steve's mother called. Jennifer answered, putting it on speaker. I just saw the videos, the older woman said. She sounded tired, defeated. Is it all true? Jennifer confirmed everything while Steve's mother listened in silence. Finally, she spoke. I need to tell you something about Steven's father. We all leaned in. His father ran the same kinds of scams for years. When Steven was young, we moved constantly because his father would get caught and we'd have to start over. I thought when his father died, Steven had learned his lesson, that he'd seen the damage and wouldn't repeat it. But I was wrong. How long have you known? I asked. That he was doing this? I suspected for a while, but I didn't have proof until yesterday when the police showed up. She paused. There's money from his father's estate, about $30,000. I've been keeping it for Steven's younger sister, Angela. She needs surgery, and the money was supposed to cover it. Steve stole it, didn't he? My daughter said quietly. 2 months ago, he convinced me to let him invest it. Said he'd double it for Angela's surgery. I haven't heard from him since. Jennifer and my ex-wife exchanged looks. Jennifer spoke first. We'll get it back, all of it. How? Because we're pressing charges. All of us. Every woman he scammed. And we're going to make sure he pays back every penny. Steve's mother started crying. Thank you. Thank you for stopping him. I should have done it years ago. After the call ended, Jennifer pulled out her laptop again. If Steve's mother is willing to testify, that adds credibility to the fraud charges. Plus, stealing from a medical fund, that's going to look really bad for him in court. My phone buzzed. It was a message from my daughter's TikTok. Someone had sent her a screenshot of a dating profile. Steve's photo, different name. The profile had been active until 2 days ago. He was still looking for new victims, my daughter said, showing us the screen. Even while everything was falling apart, he was still trying to find someone new to scam. Forward that to the police, I said. It shows premeditation. Over the next few days, more women came forward. Each one added their story to our growing document. Each one filed a police report. The detective assigned to the case called Jennifer every few hours with updates. We're building a strong case, the detective said during one call. Multiple victims, clear pattern of behavior, documented financial theft. He's looking at serious prison time. Good, Jennifer said firmly. But there's something else you should know. We found evidence he was planning to disappear. Fake ID and a different name. Plane ticket to Mexico dated for next week. If you hadn't caught him when you did, he would have been gone. My daughter went pale. He was going to leave everyone, just vanish. That's what they do, the detective said. These kinds of con artists, they're always planning the next exit. You got lucky. After the call ended, we sat in silence. Then my ex-wife spoke up. I almost married him. Last month, he proposed. Said we should have a destination wedding in Mexico next year. I was looking at venues. Jennifer's face went white. He proposed to me too, 6 months ago. I said yes. We were planning to renew our vows on our 5th anniversary. He was collecting wives, my daughter said in horror, like some kind of sick hobby. I thought about the plane ticket to Mexico. Steve's plan was becoming clear. He was going to have a fake wedding with my ex-wife, collect whatever money she'd put toward it, clean out any remaining accounts, and disappear to Mexico with fake ID. Both families left, destroyed, and broke. We need to warn people, my daughter said suddenly. Not just about Steve, about how people like him operate. That's when the idea came to her. She asked Jennifer and my ex-wife if they'd be willing to do an interview, tell their stories publicly, help other women recognize the red flags before it's too late. They both agreed immediately. Within a week, my daughter had coordinated with a local news station. They interviewed all 3 women, myself, Steve's mother, and 2 other victims who'd come forward. The segment aired during prime time and got picked up nationally. The response was overwhelming. Hundreds of women reached out with their own stories. Some about Steve specifically, others about different men who'd used the same tactics. The TikTok videos had sparked something bigger than we'd expected. My daughter created a website. She called it Know Your Worth and filled it with resources for recognizing financial abuse, love bombing, and con artists. She included all the documentation from Steve's case as a teaching tool. Within a month, the website had over 100,000 visitors. Meanwhile, the legal case against Steve was building. With so many victims willing to testify, the prosecutor was confident they could secure a conviction. Steve tried to make bail, but with the fake ID and Mexico plane ticket, he was denied. He sat in county jail while we prepared for trial. His lawyer reached out once, suggesting a plea deal. Steve would plead guilty to fraud charges if we agreed to reduced sentencing. No deal, Jennifer said immediately. He needs to face the full consequences. Every single victim agreed. The trial took 3 weeks. My daughter attended every day, sitting in the gallery, watching Steve squirm as woman after woman took the stand and told their stories. She documented it all on TikTok, careful not to reveal anything that would compromise the case, but giving people a window into what justice looked like. The most powerful testimony came from Steve's mother. She took the stand with photos of her daughter, Angela, who was still waiting for surgery because Steve had stolen the fund. "My son learned this behavior from his father," she said, looking directly at Steve. "I thought he was better than this. I thought he understood the pain these scams cause, but he chose to follow in his father's footsteps. And I'm here today to make sure he faces consequences my husband never did." Steve's face crumbled. For the first time since everything started, he looked genuinely remorseful, but it was too late. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts: fraud, identity theft, bigamy, theft. The judge set a sentencing date for 2 months later. We all left the courthouse together, a strange family formed from Steve's lies. Jennifer, my ex-wife, me, my daughter, Steve's mother, and 3 other victims who'd become friends through this process. My daughter posted one final update: justice served. The video showed all of us on the courthouse steps, arms around each other, survivors rather than victims. That video got 5 million views in 2 days, but the real impact came in the comments. Hundreds of women thanking my daughter for sharing the story. Dozens more saying they'd recognized similar patterns in their own relationships and had gotten out. Some saying they'd reported their own abusers to the police because they saw that it was possible to get justice. The sentencing hearing was anticlimactic. Steve showed up in an orange jumpsuit, his lawyer arguing for leniency. The judge wasn't having it. "Mr. Patterson, you systematically destroyed the lives of at least 11 women that we know of. You stole money meant for a child's medical care. You committed bigamy. You created fake identities. You showed no remorse until you were caught. I'm sentencing you to 12 years in state prison, with mandatory restitution to all victims." Steve's shoulders slumped. His mother, sitting in the front row, didn't cry. She just nodded like she'd expected this all along. After the hearing, we all went to dinner. It was strange, sitting around a table with my ex-wife and Steve's other wife, but it also felt right. We'd been through something together, something that had changed all of us. My daughter raised her glass of soda. To survivors, we all clinked glasses, even the kids. Jennifer's twin boys were there, still not fully understanding what had happened, but knowing their mom was okay now. My daughter had taken them under her wing, teaching them about red flags and trusting their instincts. Steve's mother pulled me aside as we were leaving. "Thank you for not giving up on this, for making sure he faced consequences." "I didn't do much," I said. "It was your son's victims who fought for this. But you started it. When you took back that car, when you showed your daughter the truth, you set everything in motion. I just wanted my daughter to know who I really was. She does now. And because of what you did, 11 other families got justice too." The restitution started coming in slowly. Steve's accounts were seized. His Lexus sold. The judge ordered him to work in prison and put his wages toward paying back his victims. It would take years, maybe decades, but every penny would be accounted for. Jennifer got her $60,000 back within 6 months. My ex-wife got most of what Steve had stolen from her. Steve's mother got the $30,000 for Angela's surgery. The other victims each got partial restitution, with more coming as Steve's assets were liquidated. My daughter updated her parent ratings one more time. Her dad, me, got a 10 out of 10. Her mom got an 8, with a note saying they were working on rebuilding trust. Steve got permanently blocked, with a warning to everyone watching about the dangers of con artists and emotional manipulators. That video became her most popular, with over 10 million views. 6 months after the trial, my daughter moved back in with me permanently. My ex-wife had sold her house, the one that Steve had nearly cost her, and moved into an apartment closer to us. The 3 of us had dinner together every Sunday, working on becoming a real family again. Jennifer and the twins visited once a month. Her boys and my daughter had formed a bond. Strange as it was, she was like a big sister to them, and they looked up to her. Steve's mother reached out regularly with updates on Angela's surgery, which had been successful. She'd also started a support group for families of con artists, helping other mothers recognize the signs and get their children help before it was too late. The website my daughter created continued to grow. She partnered with domestic violence organizations and financial advocacy groups. She spoke at high schools about recognizing manipulation. She turned her viral moment into something meaningful. But the most unexpected thing happened one afternoon when we were having coffee at my apartment. My daughter showed me a message she'd received. It was from a woman in California. She'd been dating a man for 6 months when she saw my daughter's TikTok videos. She recognized some of the patterns: the love bombing, the quick move to control finances, the isolation from friends and family. She did some digging and found out the man had a wife and 3 kids in Nevada. "Your videos saved me," the woman wrote. "I got out before he could destroy my life. Thank you." My daughter started crying, good tears this time. "That's why we did this. I said. So no one else has to go through what you went through. She nodded, wiping her eyes. Then she opened TikTok and started filming. Part whatever of the Steve saga, she said into the camera. Just got this message from a woman in California who escaped a con artist because of this series. To everyone who's shared their stories, who's warned their friends, who's helped spread awareness, thank you. We're making a difference. And to anyone out there who thinks they might be in a similar situation, trust your instincts. Do your research. And know that it's not your fault. These people are professionals at manipulation, but you can get out, you can fight back, and you will survive. She posted the video and put her phone down. Then she looked at me with a smile. You know what the best part of all this is? What? I get to know my real dad, the one who never gave up on me, even when I gave him every reason to. I pulled her into a hug. This kid who'd been manipulated and lied to, but came out stronger on the other side. That TikTok video, the one where you rated me a 1? I said, best thing that ever happened to us. She laughed. How do you figure? Because it forced the truth into the light, and the truth is always better than comfortable lies. She squeezed me tighter. I love you, Dad. I love you too, kid. That night, my phone rang. It was Jennifer. Turn on the news, she said. I did. There on the local station was a segment about online dating safety. They were using Steve's case as an example. They interviewed the detective, the prosecutor, and 2 of Steve's victims. At the end, they put up resources for people to check if they were being scammed. My daughter's website was listed as the top resource. We did it, Jennifer said. We actually made a difference. Yeah, I said. We really did. After I hung up, I sat on my couch and thought about everything that had happened. From that first viral TikTok video to this moment, it had been the worst and best experience of my life. I'd lost my daughter's trust and earned it back. I'd exposed a con artist. I'd helped 11 women get justice. I'd rebuilt my relationship with my ex-wife into something healthier. And all because I refused to let a 1 out of 10 rating define me. My daughter came out of her room, laptop in hand. Still working on the website? Always. We just got 3 new submissions from women who think they're being scammed. I'm compiling the information to send to the police. You're doing good work, kid. We're doing good work, she corrected. This is a team effort. I smiled. Yeah, I guess it is. She sat down next to me, and we worked together for a few hours, answering messages, updating resources, helping strangers recognize the signs of financial abuse and manipulation. Around midnight, she closed her laptop with a yawn. I'm exhausted. Get some sleep. We can finish tomorrow. She stood up but hesitated. Dad? Yeah? Thank you for not giving up on me. Even when I was awful to you. You were never awful. You were manipulated by someone you trusted. There's a difference. She hugged me goodnight and went to her room. I sat there for a while longer, thinking about Steve sitting in prison, probably running through his old cons in his mind, wondering where he went wrong. He went wrong when he underestimated a father's love for his daughter, when he thought he could manipulate a child without consequences, when he believed he was smarter than everyone else. But most of all, he went wrong when he helped my daughter write that TikTok video. Because that video set off a chain of events that brought his entire world crashing down. I pulled out my phone and opened TikTok. My daughter's latest video had 10,000 likes and hundreds of comments. People thanking her, sharing their own stories, offering support to other survivors. I liked the video and left a comment. Proud of you, kid. Within seconds, she replied with a heart emoji. I went to bed that night feeling something I hadn't felt in 3 years. Peace. My daughter was home. The truth was out. Justice had been served. And we were finally, actually, a family again. The next few weeks passed in a blur of normalcy. My daughter started community college, taking criminal justice classes because she wanted to understand the legal system better. My ex-wife started therapy to work through the trauma of being conned. Jennifer focused on rebuilding her life and taking care of the twins. And I went back to work, knowing my daughter was safe and happy. Then, one evening, my daughter came home with an excited look on her face. Dad, you're not going to believe this. She showed me an email from a major news network. They wanted to do a documentary about Steve's case. They wanted to interview all the victims, show how social media had been used to expose a con artist, and explore how people could protect themselves. Are you going to do it? I asked. Only if you all agree. This is our story, not just mine. We set up a group call with Jennifer, my ex-wife, Steve's mother, and the other victims. Everyone agreed. This was a chance to reach even more people, to prevent even more harm. The filming took 2 months. The documentary crew followed my daughter as she managed the website, interviewed the victims, showed the court proceedings, and explained how everything unfolded. They interviewed the detective, the prosecutor, dating app executives about how they were trying to prevent scams, and financial experts about protecting your assets. The documentary premiered 6 months later. It was called Rating Reality: How TikTok Exposed a Con Artist. It got 3 million views in the first week. The response was overwhelming. More victims of similar scams came forward, not just Steve's victims, but others who'd been conned by different people. The documentary sparked a national conversation about romance scams and financial abuse. My daughter was invited to speak at conferences. She appeared on talk shows, She became a voice for survivors of financial manipulation. Through it all, she stayed grounded. Every Sunday, we still had dinner together. Me, her, and her mom. Jennifer and the twins visited. Steve's mother joined us occasionally, grateful to be part of a real family for the first time. One Sunday, over spaghetti that my ex-wife had made, my daughter raised a topic that had been on her mind. "I want to visit Steve," she said. We all went quiet. "Why?" her mom asked carefully. "Because I need to look him in the eye and tell him that he failed. That he tried to destroy our family, but we're stronger now than we ever were." I wasn't sure it was a good idea, but I also understood the need for closure. "If you want to go, I'll go with you," I said. "Me too," Jennifer added. "And me," my ex-wife said. We scheduled the visit for the following week. The prison was 3 hours away, a grim concrete building that matched Steve's new reality. We sat in the visiting room, waiting. When Steve walked in wearing his orange jumpsuit, he looked older, smaller. The charm was gone, replaced by a hollow emptiness. He sat down across from us, eyes down. My daughter spoke first. "I came here to tell you that you failed." Steve looked up confused. "You tried to turn me against my dad. You used me for social media content. You manipulated my mom. You conned Jennifer and all those other women. You stole money from a kid's medical fund. And you know what happened? We all came together. We got justice. We built something good out of your lies. You failed, Steve. Completely." Steve's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry." "No, you're not," Jennifer said coldly. "You're sorry you got caught." "I am sorry," Steve insisted. "I'm in therapy. I'm working on understanding why I did these things." "That's good for you," my ex-wife said. "But it doesn't change what you did to us." "I know," he wiped his eyes. "I know I can never make this right." "You're right," my daughter said. "You can't. But we're not here for your redemption. We're here to show you that we survived, that we're thriving, and that will make sure no one else falls for your kind of con." Steve nodded slowly. "The TikTok videos, the documentary. You've destroyed my reputation." "You destroyed your own reputation," I said, speaking for the first time. "We just showed people who you really are." We left after 20 minutes. As we walked back to the car, my daughter seemed lighter, like she'd put down a weight she'd been carrying. "How do you feel?" I asked. "Free," she said, like I finally closed that chapter. We drove home in comfortable silence. The next day, my daughter posted a video about the prison visit. She explained why she went, what she learned, and how it felt to confront her abuser. The video went viral again, and this time the message was different. It wasn't about revenge or exposure. It was about healing, about moving forward, about choosing to be better than the people who hurt you. Comments poured in from survivors of all kinds of abuse, thanking her for showing that healing was possible. That night, as we sat on the couch watching TV, my daughter turned to me. "I've been thinking about expanding the website, maybe creating a nonprofit that helps victims of financial abuse get back on their feet." "That's a great idea. I'd need help. Legal stuff, financial planning, all of that." "I know a good lawyer," I said with a smile, "and I'm pretty good with finances." She laughed. "Of course you are. You managed to support 2 households for 3 years. 3 very expensive years. Worth it though, right? Every penny," I said honestly. She leaned her head on my shoulder. "I'm proud to be your daughter. I'm proud to be your dad." We sat there like that for a while, just being together. The TV played in the background, but neither of us was really watching. We were just enjoying the peace, the knowledge that we'd made it through the worst and come out stronger. A week later, my daughter filed the paperwork for her nonprofit. She called it True Ratings, a nod to the TikTok video that started everything. The mission was to help survivors of financial abuse recover, educate people about manipulation tactics, and provide resources for recognizing red flags. Jennifer came on as the financial advisor. My ex-wife handled community outreach. I managed the legal compliance. Steve's mother ran the support groups. The other victims joined the board. We were a family forged in trauma, now working together to help others. The nonprofit launched 3 months later with a fundraising gala. My daughter gave a speech about her journey from that first TikTok video to this moment. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. By the end of the night, we'd raised over $100,000. That money went to helping victims replace stolen funds, pay for therapy, hire lawyers, and rebuild their lives. We helped 30 families in the first year alone. My daughter's TikTok following grew to 2 million. Every video she posted about the nonprofit, about survivors' stories, about financial safety, reached hundreds of thousands of people. And through it all, that first video stayed pinned to her profile, the one where she rated me a 1 out of 10, not because she was ashamed of it, but because it was a reminder of how far we'd come. She'd added a caption to it. "Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best outcomes." This video changed my life. It showed me who my real family was, and it started a movement to help others escape manipulation. Keep watching for the full story. 1 year after Steve's sentencing, my daughter graduated from community college with honors. The whole family was there. Me, her mom, Jennifer, and the twins, Steve's mother, and several of the other victims who'd become close friends. After the ceremony, we all went out for dinner. My daughter sat at the head of the table, looking around at all of us with tears in her eyes. "A year ago, I thought my family was broken beyond repair," she said. "But look at us now. We're not traditional, and we didn't get here the easy way, but we're real, we're honest, and we're here for each other." We raised our glasses in a toast to real families. That night, I got a text from my daughter, just one line: "Best dad, 10 out of 10, forever." I saved that text, printed it out, framed it, and put it on my desk at work where I could see it every day. Because that's what mattered. Not the viral videos, not the documentary, not the non-profit, though all of that was important. What mattered was that my daughter knew I loved her, that she knew I'd never stop fighting for her, that she knew, beyond any doubt, who her real family was. Steve had tried to destroy that, and instead, he'd made it stronger than ever. 2 years after everything started, I got a call from the prison. Steve wanted to talk to me. Just me. I almost said no, but curiosity got the better of me. I drove to the prison alone this time. When Steve sat down across from me, he looked even worse than before. Thinner, grayer, defeated. "Thank you for coming," he said quietly. "What do you want, Steve?" "To tell you something I should have said a long time ago." He took a deep breath. "You're a good father. The way you fought for your daughter, even when everyone was against you, that's real love. I never had that. My dad was like me, a con artist who cared more about the score than his family, and I became him. But watching what you did, how you protected your kid, it made me realize what I missed out on. Is there a point to this? The point is, I'm sorry, not just for getting caught. I'm sorry for hurting your daughter, for using her, for trying to come between you two. She deserved better." I looked at him for a long moment. "You're right, she did deserve better, and now she has it. I know. I've seen the videos, the non-profit, everything you all built. It's impressive. It's necessary. Because of people like you." He nodded. "I know. And for what it's worth, I'm glad she has you. I'm glad you didn't give up." I stood to leave. "This doesn't change anything, Steve. I know. But I needed to say it anyway." I walked out of that prison and never looked back. Steve could work on his redemption all he wanted. It didn't concern me anymore. That night, I told my daughter about the visit. She listened quietly, then nodded. "Do you believe him?" "I don't know. Maybe he's genuine. Maybe it's another manipulation. Either way, it doesn't matter." "No," she agreed. "It doesn't. Because we're happy. Really. Genuinely happy. And no amount of apologies from Steve could add to that." The nonprofit continued to grow. By year 3, we'd helped over 200 families. My daughter hired a full-time staff. Jennifer left her dental hygienist job to work with the nonprofit full-time. My ex-wife started a podcast interviewing survivors. Steve's mother published a book about her experiences raising a con artist, hoping to help other parents recognize warning signs. And me? I went back to my regular job, but with a new purpose. Every paycheck reminded me that I was providing for my daughter honestly, with integrity, the way a real father should. The TikTok account remained active, but my daughter posted less frequently. She'd said what needed to be said. Now she focused on the real work, helping people one-on-one, building systems to prevent others from being victimized. But occasionally she'd post an update. Anniversary of Steve's sentencing, non-profit milestones, stories of survivors who'd rebuilt their lives. Each video reminded people that healing was possible, that families could be stronger after trauma, that the truth, no matter how painful, was always better than comfortable lies. 3 years after that first TikTok video, my daughter got engaged to a guy she met at college. He was kind, honest, worked hard, and most importantly, he'd been completely transparent from day one. No secrets, no hidden lives. When he asked my permission to propose, I said yes immediately. This was the kind of man my daughter deserved. At the engagement party, she gave a speech thanking everyone who'd supported her through the years. Then she turned to me. "Dad, 3 years ago I made the biggest mistake of my life. I rated you as a bad father, but you used that mistake to teach me one of the most important lessons I've ever learned. That real love shows up even when it's hard. That real family fights for each other. That the truth might hurt, but it's the only foundation worth building on. So thank you for never giving up, for showing me what real integrity looks like, and for being the man I can trust to walk me down the aisle someday." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. Her mom was crying. Jennifer was crying. Even Steve's mother, who'd become like a grandmother to my daughter, was wiping her eyes. I pulled my daughter into a hug and whispered, "I'd walk through fire for you, kid." A TikTok video was nothing. She laughed through her tears. "I love you, Dad. I love you too." The party continued around us, but for a moment it was just us, father and daughter, real family, unbreakable. Later that night, my ex-wife pulled me aside. "I never properly thanked you. For what? For not letting me destroy our daughter's relationship with you. You could have walked away when things got hard, when I made it impossible, but you didn't. And because of that, she has both of us now. We both made mistakes. I said. But we fixed them. That's what matters. She nodded. Steve taught me a lot about what love isn't. You taught me what it is. Showing up, being consistent, putting your kid first, even when it costs you everything. That's just being a parent. Not everyone does it though. You did, and I'm grateful. We stood there in comfortable silence. Two people who'd been married, divorced, manipulated, and finally healed. We'd never get back together, but we'd found something better, a real partnership in raising our daughter. My daughter posted one final TikTok video about the engagement. In it, she reflected on the journey from that first rating video to this moment. 3 years ago, I thought I knew what a good father looked like, she said into the camera. Turns out I was completely wrong. A good father isn't the one who's always fun or always says yes. A good father is the one who shows up, who fights for you even when you push them away, who tells you the truth even when it hurts, who loves you enough to let you be angry at them. My dad did all of that, and because he did, I'm here today. Engaged to an amazing man, running a non-profit that's helped hundreds of people, surrounded by a family that's real and honest and strong. So thank you, Dad, for being a 10 out of 10, even when I couldn't see it. And to everyone watching, don't trust the surface. Look deeper. The truth is always worth finding. The video got 15 million views. It became her most popular video ever, surpassing even the original rating video. Comments poured in from fathers thanking her for acknowledging their struggles, from survivors thanking her for the resources, from young people saying they'd learn to appreciate their parents more. The ripple effect of that one TikTok video 3 years ago was still spreading, and somewhere in a prison cell, Steve was watching it all happen from behind bars, knowing he'd failed at everything he'd tried to do. He'd tried to manipulate my daughter. He'd tried to come between us. He'd tried to build a life on lies. Instead, he'd given us something he never intended. He'd given us a reason to fight back, to speak truth, to build something real. In a twisted way, we had Steve to thank for our family being stronger than ever. But we'd never tell him that. He didn't deserve the satisfaction. 4 years after the original video, my daughter walked down the aisle in a simple white dress. I walked beside her, her arm linked through mine, both of us crying happy tears. Her mom sat in the front row next to Jennifer and the twins, now 12 years old. Steve's mother sat beside them, beaming. The other victims from Steve's case filled several rows, all of them family now. My daughter's fiancé waited at the altar with a huge smile. As I handed her off, she whispered, "I'm so glad you're my dad. I'm so glad you're my daughter." The ceremony was beautiful. The reception was joyful. And through it all, I couldn't stop thinking about that TikTok video 4 years ago, the one that started everything. My daughter had rated me a 1 out of 10, and in doing so, she'd given me the chance to prove her wrong. I'd taken that chance, fought for it, earned back her trust one day at a time. And now here we were, a real family, honest, strong, unbreakable. Later that night, after the wedding ended, I checked my phone. My daughter had posted one last TikTok video from her wedding day. It was just a simple shot of us dancing together at the reception, father and daughter, both of us laughing. The caption read, "Final rating, Dad 10/10, forever and always." I saved that video, watched it 100 times, because it represented everything we'd fought for, everything we'd overcome, and in the end, that's what mattered most. Not the viral videos, not the documentary, not the non-profit, though all of that had been important. What mattered was that my daughter knew I loved her, that she knew I'd never stop fighting for her, that she knew without any doubt who her real family was. Steve had tried to destroy that, and instead, he'd made it stronger than anything I could have imagined. My daughter was right about one thing in that original video. Some dads don't deserve kids, but I'd spent 4 years proving I wasn't one of them, and as I watched her dance with her new husband, surrounded by family who loved her honestly and truly, I knew we'd made it. We'd survived. We'd healed. We'd won. The next morning, my daughter and her new husband left for their honeymoon. Before they left, she pulled me aside. "Thank you for everything," she said, "for fighting for me, for showing me what real love looks like, for being the kind of dad I want my future kids to have as a grandfather." "Future kids?" I raised an eyebrow. "Not yet," she laughed, "but someday, and when that day comes, I want them to know their grandpa, the man who never gave up, the man who showed me that family isn't always perfect, but it's always worth fighting for." I pulled her into one last hug. "Go enjoy your honeymoon. We'll be here when you get back." She left with her husband, and I stood on my porch watching them drive away, thinking about everything we'd been through, from that first devastating TikTok to this moment, from a 1 out of 10 rating to forever and always. It had been the hardest 4 years of my life, and also the best, because I'd gotten my daughter back. I'd helped bring down a predator. I'd helped build something that was helping hundreds of people rebuild their lives. All because I refused to accept that 1 out of 10 rating as the final word. I went inside and looked at the framed text on my wall, the one my daughter had sent years ago. "Best dad, 10 out of 10, forever." Yeah, I thought, we did it. We really did it. And somewhere in that prison, Steve sat in his cell, knowing he'd lost everything while we'd gained everything he tried to take from us. That was justice. Real, honest, earned justice. And it felt better than any revenge could have ever felt. The months after the wedding were quiet. My daughter and her husband settled into their new apartment. The nonprofit continued its work. Jennifer focused on raising the twins. My ex-wife's podcast had developed a steady following. I went back to my routine, but everything felt different now. Lighter, like I'd been carrying a weight for years, and finally set it down. One Saturday, 5 years after the original TikTok video, I got a call from the prison. Steve had died. Heart attack in his sleep. He was only 47. I called my daughter to tell her. She was quiet for a long moment. "How do you feel?" she finally asked. "I don't know," I admitted. "Part of me feels relieved. Part of me feels sad that he wasted his whole life on cons and lies." "Yeah," she said. "I feel the same way." We hung up, and I sat with the news. Steve was gone. The man who'd tried to destroy my family, who'd hurt so many people, was just gone. That night, I visited Steve's mother. She was surprisingly calm about her son's death. "I mourned the real Steven a long time ago," she said. "The boy I raised, the man who died today, I didn't really know him." We sat together in her living room, two people connected by Steve's damage, but also by the healing that came after. "My daughter's getting that nonprofit branch ready in 3 new states," she said, changing the subject. "Angela's helping manage the support groups now that her surgery was successful. That's wonderful. Because of what Steven did, hundreds of people are getting help. That's his legacy. Not the cons, not the lies. The good that came from exposing him." I'd never thought about it that way, but she was right. My daughter posted a simple TikTok about Steve's death. No celebration, no anger, just a statement of fact and a reminder to keep fighting for survivors. Some people deserve forgiveness. Some people deserve justice. Steve got both in different ways. Now we keep moving forward, helping others heal and protecting future victims. The video got 1 million views and sparked conversations about how we treat people who've hurt us, even after they're gone. But for me, Steve's death was just a footnote. The real story was what came after that first TikTok video. The healing, the growth, the family we'd built. 6 years after it all started, my daughter had her first child. A daughter. She named her Hope. When I held my granddaughter for the first time, my daughter smiled at me with tears in her eyes. "You know what, Dad?" she said. "That TikTok video 6 years ago was the best mistake I ever made." "Why's that?" "Because it forced us to face the truth, and the truth gave us this. A real family, honest relationships, a legacy of helping others. I wouldn't change any of it." I looked down at baby Hope, sleeping peacefully in my arms, and I realized my daughter was right. That 1 out of 10 rating had set us on a path we never could have predicted. It exposed lies, brought justice, helped hundreds of people, and ultimately made our family stronger than it had ever been. Not a bad outcome for a viral TikTok video. "Hope," I whispered to my granddaughter, "your mom and I have a story to tell you someday, about how sometimes the worst things lead to the best outcomes." My daughter leaned her head on my shoulder. "And about how real fathers never give up, no matter what." "No matter what," I agreed. We sat there together, 3 generations of family, built on truth instead of lies, on love instead of manipulation. Steve had tried to tear us apart. Instead, he'd shown us exactly what we were made of, and we'd proven, beyond any doubt, that real family, honest family, was stronger than any con could ever be. That was our true rating. Perfect 10 out of 10. Forever and always. My daughter confronts her mother about Steve's double life, showing her the Facebook profile and demanding answers. The mother breaks down, admitting she suspected Steve was hiding something but ignored red flags because he made her feel loved. "Mom, you need to see this," my daughter said, pulling up Jennifer's Facebook profile on her laptop. My ex-wife was sitting at her kitchen table, still in her bathrobe. It was the morning after we'd discovered Steve's other family. She looked like she hadn't slept. "I don't want to see anything right now," she said weakly. "Mom, please. You need to know everything." My daughter turned the laptop around, showing the wedding photos, the family pictures, the posts going back 4 years. My ex-wife's face crumbled as she scrolled through them. "This can't be real," she whispered. "He said he loved me. He said I was his everything." "He's married, Mom. Look at the date on the wedding photos. June 2021. Same summer he moved in with you." My ex-wife started shaking. I felt sick watching her process it all. No matter what had happened between us, she didn't deserve this. "There's more," my daughter said gently. She pulled out the bank statements Jennifer had shared. He stole over $60,000 from her, drained her accounts, and disappeared. My ex-wife put her hand over her mouth. "Oh God. Oh my God. Mom, did he steal from you too?" My ex-wife nodded slowly. She got up and walked to a drawer in the kitchen. When she came back, she had a stack of papers. Credit card statements, all in her name, all with balances in red. "I found these last month," she said. "I thought there was a mistake. The credit card companies kept saying I'd opened these accounts, but I never did." She spread them out on the table. "Look at the dates. They all started right after Steve moved in." My daughter counted the statements. "Mom, that's 6 credit cards." My ex-wife's voice cracked. "Over $40,000 in debt." "I didn't know. I swear." I didn't know. Did you confront him? I asked, speaking up for the first time. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. Last week, he said it was a misunderstanding, that someone must have stolen my identity. He even called the credit card companies with me, acting all concerned and helpful. The whole time, it was him. Of course it was him, my daughter said bitterly. My ex-wife looked at me then, really looked at me. You tried to tell me, when we first divorced, you said I was making a mistake taking him back into our lives. I called you jealous. I said you couldn't stand to see me happy. I didn't know he was a con artist back then, I admitted. I just didn't trust him. Something felt off. You were right. About everything. She broke down completely, sobbing into her hands. I've been so stupid, so blind. My daughter moved to her mom's side, wrapping her arms around her. You're not stupid, Mom. Steve is a professional liar. He's done this to lots of women. How many? My ex-wife asked. At least 9 that we know of, I said. Probably more. My ex-wife looked up in shock. 9? I pulled out my phone and showed her the information we'd compiled. The other victims, the police reports, the pattern of behavior going back years. She read through it all with growing horror. He's a monster, she whispered. He's a predator, I corrected. And he targeted you specifically because you were vulnerable after our divorce. I'm sorry I didn't protect you better. This isn't your fault, she said firmly. You tried. I just wouldn't listen. She wiped her eyes. Did you really close the college fund? I reopened it the next day. Every penny is back. She nodded. I thought I was giving our daughter a better life, a stable home with a father figure who actually showed up. That stung, but I understood. Steve had been very convincing. Mom, I said. My daughter interrupted. Did Steve ever talk about money with you? Like, did he ask about your accounts or suggest financial changes? My ex-wife thought about it. When he first moved in, he said we should consolidate our finances. He said it was more efficient, that we could save money on fees. I gave him access to my checking account to pay bills. And he's had access for 3 years? I asked. My ex-wife nodded. He handled everything. The mortgage, utilities, groceries, everything. I just deposited my paychecks and he managed it all. She paused. I thought I was being smart, letting him help. My job is stressful enough without worrying about bills. Did he ever explain where money was going? My daughter asked. He said costs were going up. Inflation, he called it. He'd show me spreadsheets and graphs. It all looked legitimate. Her voice dropped. It was all fake, wasn't it? Probably, I said. Did he have his own bank account? I assume so. For his business expenses. She looked at us. You said he hasn't worked in 3 years? Best Buy, part-time, in 2021. That's the last record we found. But he bought me gifts. Expensive gifts. The necklace for Christmas cost at least $2,000. Where did that money come from? My daughter and I exchanged looks. That was your money, Mom. From your account, or from Dad's child support. My ex-wife put her head in her hands. He bought me gifts with my own money and I thought he was being generous. Classic con artist move, I said. Make you feel special while robbing you blind. There was a knock at the door. We all froze. My ex-wife looked terrified. It's okay, I said. I'll check. I looked through the peephole. It was a police officer. I opened the door. Ma'am, we're looking for Stephen Patterson, the officer said. Is he home? No, my ex-wife called from the kitchen. He left yesterday morning and I haven't heard from him. Are you his wife? The officer asked, stepping inside. His girlfriend, she corrected. Or I thought I was. Apparently he has a wife in Ohio. The officer's eyebrows went up. Ma'am, we need to ask you some questions. Steve's other wife filed a report yesterday about stolen money. We're investigating. My ex-wife showed the officer everything. The credit cards in her name, the bank statements, the timeline of when Steve moved in. The officer took notes, his expression getting grimmer with each detail. This is identity theft and fraud, the officer said. Possibly more charges depending on what we find. I need you to file a formal report. My ex-wife did, right there at her kitchen table. When the officer asked if Steve had mentioned where he might go, she shook her head. He talked about his mother sometimes, she said. She lives about an hour from here. The officer noted the address and left, promising to keep my ex-wife updated. After he was gone, my ex-wife looked at us. What do I do now? First, we change all your passwords, I said. Bank accounts, email, everything. If Steve had access to your accounts, he might still be monitoring them. Then we need to contact the credit card companies, my daughter added. Dispute those charges, file fraud reports, and get a lawyer, I said. You'll need help unwinding all of this. My ex-wife nodded numbly. I can't afford a lawyer. Between these credit cards and the possibility of losing the house, her voice trailed off. I saw the panic in her eyes. Wait, what about the house? I asked. The home equity loan, she whispered. The one Steve said we should get for his business investment. I thought it was still in discussion, but what if he already? She pulled out her laptop and logged into her mortgage account. We all watched as the page loaded. When the balance appeared, my ex-wife gasped. It's gone! she said. $120,000 home equity loan, approved 2 months ago. The money was deposited into an account I didn't know existed and it's empty now. Steve forged your signature, my daughter said. My ex-wife scrolled through the documents. There's my signature, but I never signed these papers. I would remember signing something this important. I looked at the signature. It was close, but not quite right. The kind of forgery someone might get away with if no one looked too closely. This is serious fraud, I said. We need to report this to the police immediately. But what about my house? My ex-wife's voice was rising. If I can't pay back the loan, the bank will foreclose. I'll lose everything. We'll figure it out, I promised. But first, we need documentation of everything Steve did. Over the next few hours, we compiled a complete record. Every financial transaction we could find, every suspicious charge, every forged signature. The pile of evidence grew larger and larger. How did I not see this? My ex-wife kept asking. How was I so blind? Because he's good at it, my daughter said softly. Mom, he did the same thing to Jennifer, and probably to all those other women. You're not stupid, you're human. He took advantage of that. My ex-wife started crying again. I gave him 3 years of my life. I introduced him to my friends, my family, my daughter. I defended him when you, she pointed at me, tried to warn me. I chose him over you. You chose what you thought was best for our daughter, I said. You made a mistake, but your intentions were good. My intentions were selfish, she admitted. I wanted a partner. I wanted someone to help me raise her. I wanted to feel loved again after our divorce. She looked at my daughter. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I brought him into your life. My daughter hugged her mom tight. It's okay. We're going to fix this together. The police called back that evening. They'd gone to Steve's mother's house, but Steve wasn't there. His mother hadn't seen him in weeks. However, she'd given them information about other relatives who might know his whereabouts. We also discovered he's using a fake ID, the officer told my ex-wife over the phone on speaker. The name Stephen Patterson is an alias. His real name is Michael Stevens. He has a criminal record in 3 states under different aliases. My ex-wife went pale. Who is he really? A career con artist, the officer said. We're coordinating with police in other states now. Your report, combined with the report from his other wife, has opened up a much bigger investigation. After the call ended, my ex-wife just sat there staring at nothing. I don't even know his real name, she said finally. 3 years and I don't know his real name. My daughter made tea while I started calling the credit card companies. Each one required a police report number, which we had now. Each one started fraud investigations. It would take time, but the fraudulent charges could be disputed. The home equity loan was more complicated. The bank needed proof the signature was forged, which meant getting handwriting experts involved. More time, more money, more stress. Around midnight, my ex-wife finally asked the question I'd been waiting for. Can I stay with you for a few days? I can't be in this house right now. Everything reminds me of him. Of course, my daughter said immediately. You can stay in my old room. We packed a bag for my ex-wife and drove to my apartment. She looked around at my small, modest living space. You've been living here all along? She asked. While Steve and I were in my big house? I nodded. This is what I could afford after child support and helping with all the extras for our daughter. She started crying again. I'm so sorry for everything. For believing his lies about you. For keeping you away from your own daughter. For being such a fool. Stop, I said gently. We all make mistakes. What matters is what we do now. My ex-wife looked at me with red, swollen eyes. Why are you being so nice to me? After everything I did to you? Because you're the mother of my daughter. Because despite everything, I don't want to see you destroyed by this. And because Steve has hurt enough people, he doesn't get to win anymore. She hugged me then, not romantic, just grateful. Thank you. That night, the 3 of us sat up late, going through every document we could find. My ex-wife remembered more details as we worked. Times Steve had asked weird questions about her job, her friends, her family. Times he'd convinced her to cut people off because they were negative influences. He isolated me, she realized. Everyone who questioned him, I pushed away, including you. Classic abuser tactic, my daughter said. She'd been learning about this stuff for her website. They separate you from anyone who might help you see the truth. My ex-wife shook her head. I thought I was smarter than this. I have a college degree, a good job. How did I fall for it? Intelligence doesn't protect you from emotional manipulation, I said. If anything, smart people are sometimes easier to con because they think they're too smart to be conned. We stayed up until 3 a.m., documenting everything. By the end, we had a file 2 inches thick with evidence of Steve's or Michael's crimes. Tomorrow, we take this to the police and the prosecutor, I said, and we make sure he pays for everything he's done. My ex-wife nodded, exhausted. Thank you, both of you. I don't deserve your help after how I treated you. Yes, you do, my daughter said firmly. You're still my mom, and we're family. That's what families do.